You have free will to extract from the kitchen what you want to put in your pie. And you were born with a guidance system that lets you know what you want in your pie and what you're doing about it. Your life experience has helped you to conclude your pie. Vibrational escrow is full of all of the things you want. All of the things you want are shooting from you like rockets and are being held for you in vibrational escrow with your encoding, with your vibrational encoding. They are yours. No one else can come and snatch them away. Everything that your life experience has caused you to want is there waiting for you. But you've got to close the vibrational gap. And we notice that one of the things that hinders you more than all other things put together about closing the vibrational gap is you're worried about what this guy's putting in his pie and that guy and that guy. So as a result, you're living what we would call a very conditional love life, where what you say is, I would feel better if those conditions were changed. And we say, we can imagine that you might feel better if those conditions were changed, but you don't have the right or the ability or the power. You're not ever going to be able to change all of those conditions that you think need to be changed so that you can feel better. You've got to go about it in another way. You've got to find a way of feeling better regardless of the conditions that are out there. And the key to it is focusing. The key to it is proceeding to your highlighted route. The key to it is keeping your nose in your own pie. The key to it is wanting so much to feel good that you are reaching for thoughts that hold you in vibrational track with that which does feel good. And as you begin to feel your way into your creations, you will then be practicing the art of allowing. The art of allowing all of the wonder and all of the abundance and all of the magnificence and all of the money and all of the friendships and all of the feelings of fulfillment, all of the things, all of the material objects, all of the relationships, all of the things that your contrasting experience have caused you to identify that you personally, specifically, in genius manner, have come to an awareness that you prefer. We want you to understand that Source is with you. Source is aware of you, agreeing with you, and eager to participate with you. Now sometimes you say, this is worrisome, Abraham, because when you say to me that all I need to do is follow the thoughts that feel good to me, I worry about what other people might be doing. What if other people are intending to do bad things? Are you saying that Source will help them do bad things? Anyone can do anything that they choose, but we've never seen anyone do anything that was detrimental to another and be in alignment with Source at the same time. In fact, people who are doing those things that make the headlines and those things that make you feel awful in mass or even in private, those things are not happening from people who are in alignment with their Source. Those things are happening with people who are out there raw and ragged. Those are people who have not been able to find their track. Those are people who are not in alignment with that which they are. Those are people who have powerful desire, who have not been able to close the vibrational gap. And in the same way that you would flail about if someone was to put a pillow to your face and deprive you of oxygen, there's a lot of flailing about going from people who are depriving themselves unknowingly, in most cases, of vibrational alignment with who they are. And it is our promise to you that anyone, no matter where they are in terms of the tragedy of their life experience, in terms of the revenge or hatred or despair that they are feeling, anyone can close that gap if they understand the process of closing the gap. The most important thing that we want you to understand is that closing the gap is not about being in despair and all of a sudden jumping into some bright, fluffy place that feels like appreciation or joy. No one can do that. You can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. The frequencies don't line up. And you can't be focused upon things with good reason in most cases that are making you feel despair or fear, and then all of a sudden just follow your bliss. It's not going to happen. The frequencies are too far apart. You know what it feels like when you're in that place that feels awful and some friend of yours who's been listening to Abraham tapes or something else says to you, you know, it's important that you feel better. Don't you know you create your own reality? And you just want to say to them, that can't be true or you'd be gone. Because nothing feels worse than to be in a place that you know very well you don't want to be and have someone who's not there with you trying to tell you how wrong it is that you're there. Like you don't know that. You should be in here with me feeling what I feel, you want to say to them. I know that I'm out of whack. I just don't know what to do about it. And we want to show you here today what to do about it. We want you to understand that it's an easy process, much easier than most any of you have allowed yourself to understand, because it's the process of quantifying your journey and then just pointing in the direction of your desire and continuing to move forward. As Jerry and Esther are traveling from Phoenix to San Diego, it's a very easy journey for them. It's 400 miles, most of it across the desert. Much of it, they are not in a place that they want to be. All of it, they have their eye on where they're going. It's going to be 70 degrees in San Diego. They're going to be parked in their monster bus near the water. They're going to watch beautiful things happening. They're going to feel wonderful when they get there. So they have a very clear intention of where they're going. And as they are moving out there across the desert, they never reach the halfway point, which is approximately Yuma, Arizona, and feel so discouraged that they're not yet in San Diego that they get disoriented and turn around and go back to Phoenix. That never happens to them because they understand the journey. It's 400 miles and it's that way. Keep going and it's going to be all right. Under any condition, we know we'll get there, you see. But we see you sometimes in a place like sickness, or in a place like verge of bankruptcy, or in a place like my lover just left me. And out there is something that you know you want, improved bodily condition, or a lot more money, or someone who loves you. But you have not figured out how to quantify that journey. It's not as simple as just pointing in that direction and continuing to go, because there are so many factors that you're trying to consider that keep you from being able to just get a bead on where you're going and continue to go there. You have to find a way of quantifying your journey. You have to find a way of knowing if you're going in the right direction. And the thing that makes that tricky about things like going from sickness to wellness, or going from poverty to abundance, or going from a terrible relationship to a magnificent relationship, the thing that makes it tricky for you is that 99% of every creation that you create is completed before you see the physical evidence. Not so different than Jerry and Esther being out there in the desert for most of the 400 miles, and it's just the last little bit that they're actually where they want to be. When you close the vibrational gap just a little bit, when you move even slightly on the emotional scale, your whole vibrational point of attraction shifts. And everything that has any relationship with you is altered because of that shift. And you'll begin to notice the difference as soon as today, while the manifestation, the full-blown manifestation of what you want will be longer in coming. It is coming. When you start making the trek up the emotional scale, it becomes less critical that you are all the way over there to where you want to be. You can be out in the desert on your way to San Diego having a really good time. Once you start moving purposefully, once you take control of your own life experience, you will have returned yourself to the attitude and perception of freedom, and it will be so much easier for you to begin to feel good right away. Because we know something that you may have forgotten, that you may be remembering. We can feel it starting to percolate within you even as we are visiting here. You must feel free in order to feel good. And in the moment that you show yourself that you can get from despair into rage, and that you're doing it on purpose, that you deliberately chose a different thought, and that deliberately chosen different thought gave you the feeling of relief that always comes when you release resistance. When you feel relief, you're releasing resistance. And when you're releasing resistance, you're closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And so, can you see how it would really serve you for your new mantra to be? Nothing is more important than that I feel good. But that's a little bit like follow your bliss, which isn't always possible. Sometimes you can't get a whiff of bliss from where you are. So an even better mantra is, I'm going to do my best from where I am to find the best feeling thought that I can find. Not the best feeling thought that I've ever thought or that anybody's ever thought. And I'm sure not going to ask anybody else what they think about my thought of revenge. They probably won't like it. Unless they're down there in disempowerment with me. Oh, if I can find a whole bunch of people who feel powerless, I can rally together a really good troop of those who are willing to find revenge with me. But I can't find people to understand revenge who are up here living happily ever after, or who are mostly in appreciation. They won't get it, but those on the other end of it will, won't they? So what we want you to do is leave everybody else out of the equation and begin to concentrate as quickly as you can on your relationship with who you are. And as you begin to deliberately close that gap, you're going to begin to live the fantastic life that you intended before you got here and that you have amended every day of your life. You are the creator of this experience. You're not the regurgitator. There's not some non-physical spirit who has decided who you are. You are that non-physical spirit who has decided who you are. And it's time for you to get up to speed with that non-physical energy that you were, that has gone beyond that which you were because of that which you are. Did you hear that? That non-physical energy that was you before you were born into this physical body has become more because you were born into this physical body. You have added to the leading edge equation, and now all of that is one point of vibrational relativity waiting for you to find vibrational compliance or alliance or tuning or toning, compliance, closing the gap, allowing of who you are. As you stand here, no matter who you're talking to or about, no matter what the subject, where you stand right now, as you focus, you have the option of closing the gap or widening it between who you are and who you are. So you can lean toward something that feels better, or you can lean away from what feels better towards something that feels worse. It's really the difference of, wouldn't it be nice if, or wouldn't it be awful if? Sort of that difference. So when you realize that every subject's two subjects, we've talked about this stick, that on one end of it is wellness and on the other end of it is illness, but it's the same subject, isn't it? There's the stick called abundance, and on one end of it is fabulous abundance, and on the other end of it is poverty, but it's the same subject, isn't it? So when you're talking about the subject of dollars or the subject of health or any subject, off on one end of the long stick is what you really want, and off on the other end of the long stick is what you really don't want. And what we want you to do is begin looking at yourself as standing here on this trail with what you want out there, and ask yourself with this statement, with this thought, with this memory, with this pondering, with this musing, with this action, with this focus. It's all with this focus. With this focus that I'm offering in my powerful now, am I leaning toward the corner that I'm going to like when I get there, or am I leaning toward the corner that I'm not going to like when I get there? Because 99% of every creation is complete before you see any physical evidence of it. So you're commenting, remembering, imagining, musing, acting. You're marching toward these manifestations. And then when they manifest, you say, where'd that come from? Came out of the blue, you say. And we say, hardly. Didn't come out of the blue. You've been on your way to that a long time. You just haven't been aware that that seemingly innocent, seemingly simple, seemingly not very important statement or thought that you were offering was leaning you in that direction. You just weren't so aware of law of attraction. You didn't really know what you were doing because you weren't using your guidance system. You would have heard, if you'd been listening, please proceed to the highlighted route. So you take this first little wrong turn, please proceed to the highlighted route. You just turn right in the direction of what you're wanting. Please proceed to the highlighted route. So the more sensitive you are to the way you feel, and the more determined you are to feel good, the more you will proceed to the highlighted route, proceed to the highlighted route, proceed to the highlighted route, and you will trim years of action and effort off of the time that it takes to conceive of something you want and to receive what you are wanting. No more spinning around out there in the desert. You are going to quantify your journeys. And those who are watching you will be amazed at what they see begin to take place in your life. Because they're going to begin to see the manifestations of things that they've been hearing you talking about for a long time coming to manifestational fruition. You're going to begin to demonstrate your vibrational alignment. But even before you do that, it is our wish that you begin having such a good time as you're romping along your better and better and better and better and better and better, better feeling path, that the manifestation becomes less and less important to you. And as the manifestation becomes less and less important to you because you're having such a very good time on your path, now the manifestations will come easily, but they will be less and less important to you. Because after all, what really matters is the way you feel. And all that stuff you want to manifest, you think you want to manifest it because you think it will make you feel better. And we want you to have every manifestation that you desire. Really, we do. And next time we meet, we will have a meeting on demanifestation. As you find yourself buried with all of this stuff that you thought you wanted, that now you have to dust and insure and haul around with you.